feminine ladies. My name is Samara, and I am going to be the feminine woman who helps you to become the woman of God that you've been destined and created to be. These are the 7 habits of a highly feminine woman of God. Something that I've been teaching my clients lately is that you cannot maintain what you do not train. Becoming a woman of God who is feminine and soft and embracing biblical femininity to the highest level is someone who isn't perfect, but inch by inch it gets easier. Day by day, there's a way. You have to do things slowly and just little by little, but in being intentional, you are able to become that woman of God, that soft and feminine woman that God created you to be. It's not by accident that you become a highly feminine woman. It's by preparation, practice, poise, and learning and caring more about what you're doing with God and your presentation than you do about what others think about you. So, of these 7 habits, I think one of the first ones would have to be that your presentation is something that you take detail and care for. It's not something that you just throw together. You don't really want to look like you just woke up. You don't want to look startled or frazzled. You want to appear rested, unrushed, but as if you put so much effort into how you look that people will know that you care about yourself based on how you chose to present yourself that day and in that environment and at that first impression when they met you. So, your body being your temple is something that we have to take into consideration, not just in what we eat, but also in what we're putting on our body and in how we're taking care of our body through proper diet and hydration and exercise. If we look at 1 Corinthians verse 6, 19 through 20, that verse lets us know that our body is a temple and it's one to be honored by God. Hygiene is very important in this because it's paired with your presentation. Usually if someone doesn't have very good hygiene, you can start to see in the way that they are presenting, the way that they smell, the way that they're experienced by people. So with hygiene, you really want to take care of the things that tend to gather smell, your teeth, crevices when you're showering, and these things can be rightfully, or these things can be eradicated by you taking care of yourself. So something that's very important that people sometimes overlook is the power of flossing your teeth. Flossing your teeth will not only prevent you from having cavities, but it will also give you that brighter smile and longevity for your teeth to be healthy. Healthy teeth are going to look better. Of course, naturally, since your teeth are bones, they're actually not naturally very white. So we do have mouthwashes and toothpaste that will help to whiten and brighten our smiles. You can also get whitening treatments. I like to sometimes use those UV lights that you can put with the gel at home, and you can use that before heading out. But that is coming second to proper brushing habits, brushing daily, morning and night, after meals if you can when you're out and about. There's portable things that you can carry with you, such as flossers and mouthwash that you can keep in a kit that I like women to have. It's called the Keep It Cute kit, just something that you can put these little diddly dads inside of so that you always have something to help you remain fresh or to freshen yourself, freshen your breath, keep your smile clean so that you're not having different things in your teeth after eating, and even a compact mirror with you so that you can see how you look throughout the day besides the camera on your phone. hygiene is going to reflect in your skin. Your skin will look better when you're washing your face and your pillowcases more, as well as when you are having some sort of a skincare routine, and that's going to be unique to you and the type of skin that you have. It's very easy to go into Sephora or Clarins or any beauty counter and to ask for assistance with the type of skin that you have and recommendations for different products. You can even sample some things so that you can have an understanding of how your skin reacts to different products. And of course, grooming. This is an act of honoring yourself and your creator, because God didn't create us to look like we're lowly, even if our heart has to be in that lowly posture, in a humble posture. He doesn't want us to look as if we're struggling or we're going through the most heinous things. Even if our life might be reflecting that at the moment, we still want to carry ourselves with the dignity of God with us. So grooming can go into how you comb your hair, the fact that you comb your hair. You don't want to always be in a messy bun, or really at all in a messy bun. Even around the house, you need to take care into how you look and how you feel. Usually when you look good, you feel good. So if you're taking that time in your personal life behind closed doors, it's going to allow that off-stage look to match the front stage that everyone else gets to see. And why does everyone else get to see the best version of you? But when you're home with you and God, you give him the crazy, disheveled version. It takes practice, and you're going to need to practice these habits when you're home, so that way when you're out and about, it doesn't feel performative. Femininity can be very performative if you only think it's lip gloss and wearing pink and dresses and curling our hair, but we have to go deeper. Having the foundation in faith, having the right habits at home, in our grooming, in our hygiene, so that way when we do go out and about, these things are just natural because we do them on a daily basis. The next habit of a highly feminine woman is something I mentioned previously, is that her backstage matches her on stage. And that just goes to speak for the simple things like your loungewear. So today I was at work, I had a matching set on, and it didn't have to be anything crazy or extravagant. If you like to wear long robes and you want to drape your robe and walk glamorously across your marble floor, then you can do that. But it doesn't need to be that all of the time. But when you are at home, you should be honoring yourself just as much as you would when you go out and about. You being a highly feminine woman means that you do this. This is your everyday. So it's not just that when you go and get invited into a gala that you throw on a beautiful dress. When you're home, you're allowing yourself to radiate in that beauty that you want others to perceive you as having. So I like to have some nice loungewear, matching sets, just something that makes me feel good so that I'm not always having to get dressed and put something on in order to feel feminine or to go out of my house. But instead, at home, I'm able to be just as feminine and just as soft because I'm allowing myself to look good no matter where I am. And lavishing your body, this goes back into more of the body care, making sure that I just started using a lotion with retinol in it, and I like to do body oil after the shower, especially at night. I do a lighter routine than I would when I'm going out and about, but really just taking that time to have, whether it's hand scrubs in the shower or the African net and a skincare routine, just making sure that I'm taking care of my body. When I'm at home, I'm able to feel soft and I'm not just waiting until I have a date or I have someplace really exciting to go to. I let every day be of award. Every day is a beautiful moment to celebrate. I don't have to wait until I'm invited somewhere to be beautiful and to feel beautiful. Because think about it, when you put on that lip, when you have your hair curled, when you're wearing something that feels beautiful and brushes up against your skin, you feel great. So allow yourself that feeling every way and every day and any way that you spend your time. When you're highly feminine, you're allowing yourself to feel soft and rested. And it allows you to really bring routine, and it goes into how disciplined you are, because we aren't fabulous and feminine by accident. We need discipline, we need divine alignment, and we need God's diligence. I like to say that the diligence is in the details. So the details of your life will allow someone to step back and see how diligent is this woman based off of how she spends her time and what she does behind closed doors. Even though most people can't see you, the real ones know when you leave the house. They can tell a woman who is kept, even if she's not kept by a man, she's kept by herself in God. They can tell that your habits match the way that you walk outside the house based off of the way you look when you are out and about. And with this order, it allows you to have structure, so that way you're not running wild and only some days doing a beauty routine or some days flossing, cleaning your ears. I understand that we're not perfect, we're not going to remember every day, but even having a small, in your journal, if you journal before you start your day, or if there's a note somewhere that has floss and wash your face and to do simple habits, it will help you to get in the routine of it, and then it will become a habit. It takes about 40 days, 40 to 90 days for a habit to stick. So just allowing yourself to truly get into the routine of being feminine would help you to become the woman that you want to be. The third point is one that's close to my heart, because I think that I'm really good at this, is protecting your peace. So this is going to go into guarding your heart, which can be around friends. It can be protecting your eye and your ear gates and being mindful of what you're watching. Feminine women aren't constantly traumatizing themselves. So if you can't watch the news, which I know that I can't, I don't watch it. I'm not getting my news from the newspaper with their very eye-catching headlines with drama. I'm not watching gossip shows or reality TV. I'm not watching things that get me feeling angry or like I want to fight or have an attitude and be angry right there with the person that's in the show. And I don't want to constantly have my heart broken by watching the way the world is so devastatingly going on. So it's very important to guard your heart in that way, and to even guard your heart with people, not being around people who have bad attitudes or very bad things to say about men or who gossip, because as a feminine woman, you want to honor the masculine, honor men, respect them. If you're not married, one day you will be by the grace of God, and you will need to understand how to submit and honor that man. So if you have the habit of talking badly about men or watching things that constantly drag men and degrade them, or even degrading women in their bodies, you're going to internally have those feelings, and they will come up some way, because out of the heart the mouth speaks, and out of the heart flows the issues of life, as we learn in Proverbs 4, verse 23. So, someone who is highly feminine or looking to be more feminine in her habits is someone who sets boundaries, understanding how to say no and when to say no, which there's so many different ways to say no. You don't have to outrightly tell someone no. Sometimes you can tell them, actually, I'm not available. Actually, that doesn't work for me. I would have loved to attend, but I do need to attend to something else, or I would have needed more notice because I actually am not going to be able to make that work with my current schedule. I have other priorities. There's so many ways to say no without having to say the word no. I recently did a video on that. If you check out my Instagram at Samara Guillaume, you will see just how I give you tips in the description of how to say no without actually saying no. And I do have a gift for you ladies. If you go to the link in the description and in my bio, you will see the free ebook of how you can make 7 mistakes in setting boundaries as a feminine woman, and they give you remedies of how to make better decisions so that way you are making and setting and enforcing boundaries properly. Something that I love to say is that someone else's urgency is not your urgency. So a soft and feminine woman does not allow urgency or rushing to dictate her timeline. Instead, she allows her priorities and what she values to be what sets the tone for how she spends her time. And this speaks to you not people pleasing. It speaks to you not overcommitting so that you're not robbing yourself of rest. You cannot do everything on your own. And the beauty of having faith means that you trust in God that even if you didn't get to everything on your to-do list today, that the work will somehow still get done and that things won't all fall apart just because you didn't get everything done in that one day. And with people pleasing, you are putting yourself in a disproportionate order. This is disorder. You are supposed to value what God wants for you more than what other people want for you. And in order to love others as you love yourself, you have to first love yourself. And if you're overdrawn, overspent, and overpouring yourself to others, you're not able to be loving. You're not being loving toward yourself, and you're not able to then do it again the next day because now there's resentment, and now you don't even feel like you're doing things because you want to. You're doing them out of obligation because you care more about what people think than what God thinks. And that is not a habit that a feminine woman has. The fourth way is that she listens more than she speaks. In James chapter 1, verse 19, we see that it tells us to be quick to listen and slow to speak. This type of woman pauses before she speaks so that she can gather her thoughts. She's listening more than she's speaking because she does care about what the other person has to say. She's letting them know that they have her undivided attention and that she is present in the conversation. Sometimes we think that if we're not constantly talking, that the other person will think we're incompetent. But actually, on the contrary, people find it very mysterious when you're not always talking. And they find you to be more interesting because you are interested in what they have to say. Think of silence as strength because it is rooted in discernment. You're not just being silent because you're afraid, but you're being silent instead. It gives you time to discern the person. If you're on a date and you're unsure about a man, all you have to do is let him talk. He will reveal himself. And in any other setting, people will reveal themselves. They cannot hide who they are for long. And if you allow yourself the wisdom to be silent long enough, you will see exactly whether or not they are a destiny helper or a destiny destroyer. The next topic or habit is that she stays active. I know that this can be hard because sometimes we have busy schedules, but taking care of your temple is honoring God. So we went through the outer care, we went through the internal care. Now we're going back to the outer care with activity, exercising. That can be you taking an aerobics class, dance class, a bar class. This can be HIIT, this can be low intensity training, this can be being on the treadmill, tennis, pickleball, running, walking, taking and opting the stairs instead of always taking an escalator. There's so many different ways for you as a feminine woman to stay active without feeling like you're overspending yourself or bulking up or becoming what they call a gym rat. You can allow movement to be part of your worship to God. Everything that you do in honor of God, such as taking care of your temple, is worship to God. You just want to make sure that your activities are not becoming an idol, or that they're not new age, as in Pilates or yoga or meditating. We don't meditate outside of the word, we meditate with the word. So choose grace-filled activities that allow you to still take care of your muscles, stretch them, and nurture your body without being overstrained. This is going to allow you to live a longer life and to have more energy, mobility, and flexibility, which is very important as you get older. You want to make sure your muscles and everything stay elastic and that they don't get stiff, but they stay movement. Or what is the word that I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of a word, and it means when you're able to move well into old age, mobility. That's the word. The sixth habit, as we're coming to a close, is that she lives by grace over grind. I wrote a book about this because it's the journey of how I helped myself get out of the grind mindset so that I can live in grace, in rest, and softness, and flow and ease. So, as a feminine woman, highly feminine woman at that, you are refusing to hustle. And it doesn't matter where you live, hustle is not even how you get to riches. If you ask anyone who is wealthy and really established, they did not hustle. They did not hustle. They did not grind. Think of the person who works the hardest at the company. They do not make the most money. But it is the CEO, the Imagineer, or the ones who are on the board who are in fact racking up the most income. So you want to refuse hustle. It doesn't matter what the world tells you. You want to prioritize resting, recharging, resetting, reconnecting, renewing, and revitalizing yourself with the Lord. And you want to make sure that you give yourself that rhythm of grace with these habits that we've been talking about. And it will allow you to feel more peaceful when you know that God ultimately has it. It's His plan. So ultimately, it's going to work out just because of the nature of the God who sent you. The I am that I am means that it came to pass. So if God is sending you to this career, this business, this role of a kept woman or a homemaker, He's going to make sure that in everything it all works out. Because all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. This is something that I find many women are struggling with in the faith, whether they are that CEO or they are a kept wife. This is something that we need to prioritize, which is rest. If you've been feeling like you're burnt out and trying to do it all, this is the perfect book for you, Grace Over Grind. I wrote this with a client in mind who reached out to me after being overworked, overlooked, and just overstimulated, and she needed an answer to how to make things work because she felt like she was running on E and then having to repeat every day the same process. This is going to help you feel and live rested and walk in your purpose. And the link for that is going to be in my bio. And the last and final way is that you, being a highly feminine woman, you live by grace and the signature of the feminine standard. This means that you're cultivating your personal scent, your personal style, your personal wardrobe. So for me, let me think. I'm someone who really enjoys silk. I like scarves. I like dainty jewelry that remains simple. I like pear-shaped diamonds. I like to have my hair straight, so usually my hair will be straight. It might be natural in more of a bun style. I like to do my bees buns, bobs, blowouts, Brazilian weave, and that's about it. Yeah, the beads. And this is just for me. I like to keep it simple and keep it cute. And I know that I prefer in some months to wear more black, signature, monochromatic black outfits. And then in the warmer seasons, I'm wearing more lighter colors, flowy dresses, just anything that matches my body type. I also dress for my body type. I have more of an hourglass shape, so I'm wearing things that really accentuate my waistline and that look good on my body type. Not too much up here because I do have wider shoulders and I don't want to bring too much attention here. So with your body type, you're accentuating the part of your body that isn't as full. So I would accentuate my hips or my waist with belted outfits and a cinched waist, essentially. Someone who has more of a pear-shaped body, meaning they have smooth, like they don't have as much width in their shoulders, but they have more bottom heavy. They're gonna be able to wear things that have more shoulders and ruffles because they're trying to balance themselves out to basically give themselves a more of an hourglass appearance. And I love having a personal scent. A few years ago, I will admit that I learned this from someone who was more new age, and she was like, "Oh, you don't have a personal scent. You need to have a personal scent. It's a part of seduction." But as women of God, we are not seductive. We are feminine and soft. And I learned to have a signature scent because it allows you to have a memory. Scents hold memory, and if you're around people, it will allow them to, one, it's an easy gift if they know that you love Armani perfumes or that you love a vanilla or a oud or more of a jasmine scent. It's easy for them and it's easy for you because you can allow your products from your body wash to your lotions to your oils to follow that similar scent, or to just get a lotion that matches the perfume and to give yourself a scent that keeps it simple. And now that's your standard of femininity that you have with that scent that you hold. And you want to have a look that reflects your value. If you want it to be elegant and modest and intentional, it can match the industry that you work in, whether you're in a set that can be more sweats or loungewear that tends to be that sweater material, or a suit or a dress. You always start refined because you have a standard that you live by. Your standard is making sure your clothes are pressed, making sure your hair, whatever way it is that it is, in place. It doesn't have to be perfect, every hair in place, but essentially, at least when you leave your house, the intention is to have everything in place. And you always want to give off that look of refinement. You don't need to copy trends. That's the beautiful thing about being highly feminine, is to have a capsule wardrobe and not having very trendy looking clothes. Even if you are someone who likes to wear bolder colors, you can still do it in a way that's timeless. So that way, if you wore the same thing next year, it wouldn't be out of style just because it's now a new year. And you want to really embody timeless grace. Many people like to go back to the 50s or the 60s or the 70s not so much the 70s, more 50s and 60s style, even the 20s, when they think of elegant, timeless outfits. And it just works. Ralph Lauren is a really timeless brand because they don't really change it up year by year. The material might get better, but they're typically keeping it standard: button down, slacks, a little black dress, and a nice pantsuit, nice dresses that maybe A-line dresses. You want to do things that are simple but that can be worn in any year. And no matter what the current trend is, it can still be aging well. Something that my charm teachers actually taught me, even though I did charm lessons when I was younger, she taught me it more recently, that she showed me pictures of herself throughout the years, and she said, "What was something that you noticed?" I said, "Okay, you had a lot of black." And she said, "But the main thing was that from year to year, my wardrobe was so timeless that it doesn't err on any one side, not too trendy. It didn't have to, it didn't phase out. It could be something that she could wear year after year and still look good." So, ladies, thank you so much for taking your time and watching this video. If you are ready to step deeper into this lifestyle, join the mailing list for the Feminine Collective and get your signature gift: the 7 biggest mistakes that feminine women make when setting boundaries. You will be able to be on the wait list to know when my Feminine Standard School opens, and you will know about all of my events, my etiquette events, and everything happening with the Feminine Standard brand. This is where we train elite women in faith with elegance, leadership, and rest. Plus, we are going to have so many different exclusives for you. So please join me on my mailing list so that you can be the first one notified when the Grace Over Grind book releases. That's the link in my bio that you'll be able to see every offer that I have, as well as any other book or product that I have that can be a solution that you've been praying for. Until next time, bye bye.